Tyla speaks out after refusing to answer a question about her identity. She says, I never denied my blackness. I don't know where that came from. Well, unfortunately, Tyla, this country's ran by libtards now. And and also particularly black Americans, and even to a lesser extent, um white Americans to a lesser extent. But black Americans are obsessed with race in 2024. And black Americans complain about white Americans being obsessed with race, but if Shannon Sharp had this quote, he said, if you're not careful, you can become the very thing that you despise the most in a person if you're not careful with how you do things. And particularly when you're dealing with FBAs, no disrespect, they are now adapting the traits and doing the things that they swore that they hate. So they act like that the world like revolves. I don't know if I'm using the right word, but they just think the world revolves around America. So when it comes to like race and all this stuff, they don't realize in South Africa there's apartheid just ended in South Africa like 30 years ago, right? Not too long ago. So you have races like it's not like just, oh, you black or are you white? Like there's another race. Like if you're mixed, they call you colored over there, in South Africa. So there's different there's different distinctions. And plus in different countries, there's always different ways on how people do things, how people identify themselves. And first of all, this is how I can tell, because Trevor Noah is a very popular, world-renowned comic from South Africa, and he's talked about these things already. But it's clear that people just don't listen. And what and this is where I come in. And this is not like, I'll even tell all of you guys is all this stuff about Tyla getting tripped out about race, or people, black Americans wanting to know about what race it is. None of this is about race. Tyla is a pretty young girl who's skinny, and she has the complexion for the connection. So she's just going to get hate. I've told you this guy like 2 or 3 videos ago. Like I remember I showed you one of my first videos of Tyla a couple months ago, or 3 or 4 months ago. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can see the hate is going to come, because I would see weird comments about her from women talking about, oh, if men like Tyla, it's a red flag. She has a body of a what they say? She has a body of a kid, a teenager. I'm like, no, she's fit. She looks exactly what a 21, 22-year-old would look like. But it was weird comments, particularly from BWs, talking about Tyla's body type and how her body type, if men find her body type attractive, that means they're on the weirdo side. And I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. like this is where I see where this is going. So let's even get more into it. Let's read the caption more. TSR, clear the air. Press play. He's saying, Tyla has broken her silence and is addressing her heritage following her Breakfast Club interview. When Charlemagne the God asked her to explain her identity, she was quiet, and her team advised him to skip the question. If you recall, last December, the controversy surrounding the water singer's identity occurred after she explained she was colored in an interview. Minutes ago, she addressed her Breakfast Club appearance by writing on her Instagram story, in South Africa, I would be classified as a colored woman, and other places, I would be classified as a black woman. Race is classified differently in different parts of the world. But like I said, black Americans, be careful. You may, if you're not, like Shannon Sharp said, if you're not careful, and I'm talking about black men and black women, if you're not careful, you will become the thing that you despise most in a person. I love that quote by Shannon Sharp. I love that quote. Anyways, because they don't even see it. They don't even see it. Now, this is regarding, so I already said what she said, her statement. So I already read her statement here. But like I said, and then let me make a message to black men in general. Do not let other black women gaslight you in criticizing her, because the only reason why you have a lot of BWs on Tyla's neck is because she's young, attractive, and skinny. Particularly when I say young and skinny. Okay, so that's where that hate is coming from. So anything Tyla does wrong, right, whether it be about race, or if she's saying this, or if they say 5 times 12, and she says 72 instead of 60, which obviously she'll be wrong. But I'm just saying, like, whatever she does wrong, they're gonna be on her ass. Not because of her not claiming her blackness and blah 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 blah. They don't like her. She's young and pretty. Women don't like that. Okay, so let's go and watch the part of the interview that had Black Americans all up in an uproar. And like I said, Black men don't be gaslit by other BWs to criticize her on this thing, because this is not about her race. They just don't like her. Oh man, that's embarrassing. Let's see if I can refresh the page. Let me refresh the page and pause it in time. That's why Charlemagne the God also, this is a hoe ass nigga right here. So let me bring it. Yeah, Charlemagne the God, he's a hoe ass nigga. So he knows about the whole race controversy, which shouldn't be a controversy, but that's why he brought up the question to be messy. But like I said, that's Charlemagne the God. That's what he is. He's a hoe ass nigga. So I will expect hoe ass nigga things from Charlemagne the God. You know, this is where she almost got, I guess, got herself caught up in a controversy, right? Here, let's press play.
On these debates that they be having about your identity as a South African colored person. What does that even mean?
Can we not? Por favor.
Oh, I like that. We keeping that in the interview too. I like when they talk from the back and say we can't. I like that. School me on these debates that they be having about.
Yeah, like Charlemagne the God, he's a weirdo. And he's gay. Just putting that out there. Let me see. I just got a text message. Oh, okay. Anyways, yeah, Charlemagne the God's a weirdo. Sorry, I had a little side adventure quest thing going on here, but yeah, so Charlemagne the God's a weirdo. And like I said, let me warn you, Black men, because there's a lot of things that we like. I talk on my channel about different races of women gaslighting their own men to do the dirty work, right? Because people will like it when I say, oh yeah, you know, when we talk about the conservative white women, right, gaslighting their men into doing certain things in the past, right, and today and today, right. Now let's talk about what the BWs are doing. They will see somebody that they feel threatened by beauty wise, and then they will start gaslighting their men into finding certain things wrong with certain people, which there's really nothing wrong with, right? So, for example, if a Black man is dating a white woman, first thing is, you're going to end up like Jonathan Majors, you know, and right. So there are, one day I'm going to go into that when we talk about BWs gaslighting other Black men into doing their dirty work just because they don't find, they feel threatened by a girl like Tyla, right? And it doesn't, like, for me, it's not even just, like I said, it's not just her youth, right, or her attractiveness. She's skinny as well. Like she's a petite woman, and she's young, and men find her attractive. BWs are like, no. And I was really, it was confirmed for me when I covered that, when I covered the topic, when Tyla was supposed to do a tour in America, right, and she had to cancel it because of an injury or something. I don't know what happened to her. I think she had an injury and she couldn't do something, whatever. She couldn't, so whatever happened to her, she couldn't do the North American tour. And it was BWs in the comment section celebrating like it was a damn Super Bowl. I was like, yo, this is some weird stuff. Like, I caught on. I was probably late to the party at that end. But yeah, the weird hate that Tyla would get from the average BW was a little bit like, that was weird. And I picked up on it quick. So what happens is they're threatened by her because she's pretty, young, and she's skinny. So because of that, now I'm starting to see Black men say weird things about her, like, oh, she don't know if she's Black or not, and all this stuff. And then I'm like, guys, you do know, like, in different countries, there's different ways that they categorize certain races. Like, obviously, like, even like people that speak, like, particularly Black Americans that speak like this, you could tell, like, they don't even know, like say, like in Italy, like how many types of races that are like kind of blended in together, like around the Mediterranean area, like the southern part of Italy, around Sicily. Like they would even have, like, it would blow their mind to the average American Black person. on how race works in that part. So this whole like it you know, we grew up, right, thinking that, oh, it's only white people thinking about race and all this stuff, but really it's Black Americans picking up on the bad habits on their former enemies. You know what I mean? On their former, abusers, quote unquote, right? So, like I'm gonna repeat this again. A Shannon Sharp quote that his grandmother or grandfather allegedly said, right? God rest their souls to both of them. If you are not careful, you will become the very thing that you despise most in a person. And me personally, I've kept that quote close to heart because I like as I've grown older, the more I've taken accountability on that end. You know what I mean? You got to take accountability on that end to make sure you're not that guy. You don't become the guy or the girl, right? That you hate the most. Because this thing where we're trying to trip her up on about race and all this stuff, this is just, this is weirdo behavior. And also, let me make a call because I did see in the comment section, I did see some BWs that did try to stick up for her. So I will make a call to action to the BWs with sense in America. You need to start either separating yourselves from the delusional pro-blacks or the other BWs, or really start calling out other American Black people in general, not just BWs, but American Black people in general, for basically for this divide that we have now, right? Making unnecessary enemies out of people. No disrespect to the FBAs, right? But making unnecessary enemies, right? For example, let me give you an example because I don't know why people don't see this. I don't know why people don't see this. Imagine you're a guy like Tom. Let's take Tommy Sotomayor, for example, right? And you'll have the average FBA dude saying, "Oh man, Tommy is messed up. He says this about Black people and all this." But I would say, let's take it from Tommy Sotomayor's lens, right? And this is not really because I actually haven't seen in public, even though Tommy Sotomayor has said a lot of disparaging things about Black women in public. I have seen Black women come to his defense when he's been attacked by Black men. So I will say that, which is interesting, which is very interesting. But let's take it from Tommy Sotomayor's lens. This is why I know why Tommy feels the way that he feels, right? Because I believe there's really no difference between me and Tommy. It's just who got taken care of. Let me give you an example. Tommy Sotomayor's story. Imagine you're Tommy. You grow up. You have dark skin, right? And anybody that knows, if you were really dark skinned back in the day, people would make fun of you for having very dark skin. Black people. And not just Black people, other races too. But you'll have like your own, the so-called FBAs, right? Would make fun of you for having dark skin. Oh, you too Black and all this stuff. Making all types of jokes about your skin tone. This happened to me as well. So I can relate. Now, imagine you're Tommy Sotomayor and you get made fun of for having too Black a skin. Just for you to grow up, the same FBAs that were making fun of you for having Black skin, now they're telling you you're not Black because your ancestors weren't necessarily born in America. I'm talking about the same FBAs that made fun of you for having too dark of skin, messing up your whole childhood because you probably got made fun of, got separated from groups. People didn't want to hang with you because you was getting made fun of. So your whole childhood is ruined. You couldn't make the proper connections with people. Just for you to grow up to see those same FBAs talking about, oh, you're not a real Black person because you think a certain way, or because your parents aren't necessarily weren't born in this country. Just for those same people to say, oh no, you're not Black. And then people are just puzzled on why Tommy Sotomayor is the way that he is. Now, the only difference between me and Tommy is that even though I got made fun of, there were Black women in my life that had my back. I'm talking about through real thick and thin, where they stood up for me in terms of literally against all odds, right? Or there were certain women in my life that were mentors of mine during those times. So there was no way I can really see, oh, it's just this group of people making an enemy of me and blah, blah, blah. Now imagine, now what also helped me is there was a lot of things that I was talented at. So that helped out as well. Now imagine if you're just a regular Joe, very dark skin, you're not good at sports, you're not good at music, you're just existing. And then you just wonder why people just drift, or why people will think a certain way, or people will have a negative connotation when it comes to certain. Like that was easy for me to put together. Why Tommy Sotomayor is the way that he is, but people are just gonna chalk it up to self-hate. It's more than just self-hate. It's more than just self-hate. I think, to connect this back to Tyla, I don't, in the future, if something happens and if Tyla is not giving no donations to certain ninja causes that need donating to, you got you because something's gonna happen, and then they're gonna be asking for Tyla's help, and then she's gonna remember these are like the same group of people that are saying I'm not black enough and I'm not this and not that, and really it was for other reasons that Tyla was getting hate. It was really for other reasons, but people don't want to admit it. You know what I mean? So we got to start being honest. You guys got to be, first of all, women, particularly BWs, you have to be honest. You got to be like, look, I'm hating on Tyla because she's pretty and I don't think she all that. Then Tyla could be like, okay, I get that. And then she could just move on with her life. You know what I mean? Because the more you make that a problem and the more you're trying to make that and to have that define her career, when ish hits the fan and Ninjas is going to need her help, she's literally going to be like, fuck y'all. You know what I mean? Oh, why don't you help a fellow sister out? And y'all was trying to trip her up over this. Actions have consequences, guys. Actions have consequences. You guys, I don't think you guys understand what you guys are doing. So, like I said, when it comes to stuff like this, because this, like I said, this is not about race. This is about Tyla being young and attractive, and she's skinny. She's not obese. Most BWs in America are obese, so they're gonna have a problem with her off rip, just off rip. So let's be honest. You hating on her because she's pretty, and it will stop this whole race nonsense where now that's gonna divide even more people in this community. You know what I'm saying? That's all I had to say about that situation. And like I said earlier, I've warned you guys the Tyla hate that was gonna come. I already warned you.